Welcome, welcome, welcome to Meet the Artist, a special show tonight featuring Linda Russell, an early American balladeer. Tonight we have a wonderful program for you. Linda is the ultimate patriot. Here is a person who is a champion of keeping the American culture alive through music, through song, through ballads, through many different forms of music. We have several different instruments that you're going to hear. And she's a vocalist, a guitarist, plays the mountain and hammered dulcimers, the limberjack, that's not a cheese, by the way, as we're going to show you later. Also the penny whistle. She's going to bring all kinds of music to life for you through her songs and through her texts. And welcome, Linda.
Thank you.
I would like you to open up the show with a selection, which I'm not going to mention. We've discussed it, but you can tell them after you play it.
All right, I'll do that. Saw you, my hero, saw you, my hero, saw you, my hero, George. I've ranged through all the plains, I've asked of every swain for some news of my hero, George. I saw not your hero, I saw not your hero, I saw not your hero, George. Your George is in the van of the battle just begun, and I to my men must away. Hark from the hills, the woodlands and dales, the drums and the trumpets' alarms. Ye gods, I give you charge of my gallant hero George, and return him unhurt to my arms.
That was delightful, absolutely delightful. Please sit, please sit. I would like you to be aware of the fact that the key to the explanation you're going to get now is in the name of George. Which George is this?
This could be, I believe, George Washington himself. This song originally was a British song called Saw You, My Brother. And in America, we love taking British tunes and making them our own. And we did that with this. After the Battle of Monmouth, this song captures Martha wandering the plains of Monmouth looking for George. So this is a New Jersey song.
Wow. I expect to hear this on the local station soon,
Yes.
Probably maybe with some of our local talents singing. It's not a hot hip-hop number, but perhaps maybe in the future. You never know, a variation on that. Tell us a little bit about your background. What made you get involved with this type of music, and where you're from? And
I'm from Wisconsin, Menominee, Wisconsin. I grew up in the country. I went to a one-room country school, so history was, I lived it. And I loved history from the earliest days. And then when I was in high school and the folk boom was on, I got a guitar. And I loved singing Peter, Paul, and Mary and all that, but I found that the songs that Joan Baez and Judy Collins were singing, some of those ballads, they were the people's music of the people's past. And I just, I was fascinated because I thought, now I can find out what the people of our past were like by looking at the songs that they sang, singing them, maybe feeling it. I think it's a great way to look at history, to look at the emotional side of history. Music
Absolutely.
captures the feelings of the people.
Very much so. You know, we're certainly into artifacts. We have, you know, the mapped out the original retreat routes of George Washington. We have the various inns that were utilized, and you know, certain brick structures and walls. But obviously, a lot of this information about that period was divulged in the texts of the songs. So it's a very important medium of expressing the winters that they went through and the harshness of their lives, and you know, things of that nature. Very much, yes.
And I came to New York to go to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and I wandered into Federal Hall on Wall Street, where Washington was inaugurated president. And I walked out of there a folk singer for the National Park Service.
Wow.
For 16 years.
Wow.
So that's where I really learned, really got to delve into this material.
That's why I feel you're very important. You know, people talk about patriotism too. You know, it's not just fighting wars, and not to, of course, to belittle that, but there are many ways of exposing our culture and making our lives, or enriching our lives, with the important things, what this country was based on, what it was built on. And so you're actually supplying a very important media for us. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're doing this. I would like for you to play another selection, and I'm wondering if we should tell them before or after. Maybe I'll leave that to you.
Okay. I can tell them about the instrument.
Fine,
Do that
please.
Too.
This is a
It is a
hammered
hammered dulcimer.
Right.
Ancient instrument, originated in Persia, somewhere between the 7th and the 10th centuries. It is. It went from there through the ages into many, many cultures. It's found all over the world. Came to America with Scottish immigrants in the 1600s. And actually, I will tell something about this tune before I do it. It's a timely tune. We've just celebrated Christmas, and it was in 1776, a very dramatic Christmas was had in New Jersey. It had been a very dark time. 4th of July was exciting, but by November of 76, we didn't have the spirit because we were on the run from the British, and we didn't think we could do it, and Washington needed a victory to inspire his men. And he figured out how to do it. It all surrounds Trenton. And the story is best told by a diary entry of one of Washington's men. Christmas morning. They make a great deal of Christmas in Germany. No doubt the Hessians will drink a great deal of beer, have a dance tonight. They will be sleepy tomorrow morning. Washington will set the tune for them about daybreak. New flints and ammunition have been distributed. 2,400 men marched through freezing snow and ice to Trenton, had to cross that Delaware, stumble into town, and the Germans gave up in about 20 minutes. And Washington had his victory, and this is the broadside that spread the word. On Christmas Day in 76, our ragged troops with bayonets fixed for Trenton marched away. The Delaware Sea, the boats below, the light obscured by hail and snow, no signs of dismay. Our object was the Hessian band that dare invade fair freedom's land. Quarter in that place, George Washington, he led us on with streaming flag and storm and sun. There's never no disgrace. In silent march, we passed the night, each soldier panting for the fight. The quiet benumbed with frost, green on the left, at 6 began the right, was led by Sullivan, and never a moment lost. pickets charged, the alarm was spread. Rebels risen from the dead were marching into town. Some scampered here, some scampered there. Some for action did prepare, soon their arms laid down. Oh, brothers of the patriot bands, let's sing deliverance from the hands of arbitrary sway. And as our life has but a span, let's touch the tankard while we can, in memory of that day.
Wow. That was terrific. I'm very excited about being an American. I mean it. I mean, usually we know that, of course, that Washington, part of the retreat concept was to wear down the enemy, also, to constantly draw them in and pick them off, in which he did very effectively. But, of course, about the battle and, of course, the Delaware, which I'm familiar with. My brother lives in Philly, so I'm sort of familiar with that river. That was really quite lovely and quite meaningful.
Thank you.
I enjoyed that very much.
I feel a huzzah coming on.
Yeah.
We have to say huzzah, which is how they cheered then.
Aha. No hoorah,
Huzzah.
huzzah.
Right.
Okay, maybe that's a Persian coming out or something. Well, no, that's a different instrument. Yeah, whatever. Can we hear the a selection, perhaps, of the hammered dulcimer? I'm sorry, the mountain dulcimer.
Yes.
Oh, actually, yes, please, please.
This instrument is also called a dulcimer, just to confuse us all. It is a mountain dulcimer. And with this, you sit to play it.
Okay.
Give you a sample for a moment here.
Okay, thank you. I think we're going to be breaking for a commercial very shortly, but can you just speak briefly about the penny whistle, which we're going to listen to after we break.
Oh.
But I just wanted you to just sort of introduce it before, and then we'll come.
Oh, sure. The penny whistle, or tin whistle, you play it. It's like a recorder, but it's just got 6 holes in it, and it's simply played, and it's a delightful instrument of 18th century.
Okay, so we are going to break shortly for a commercial, and when we come back, we're going to listen to a selection of penny whistle. So I thank you, and we'll be back shortly. Thank you.
Properly inflating my tires burns less fuel and saves me money on gas. Yeah, I'm saving Mother Nature from pollution, but more importantly, she saved me $11. Ow!
Environmental defense. Get green.
By keeping my car regularly tuned, I save money on gas and repairs. That also means cleaner air. You know, feels good to help save the cash, planet.
Environmental defense. Get green. For more tips, go to getgreen.com.
The danger dog will bite your ankle. The danger dog will bite your ear. The danger dog will bite your bottom if you come near. That's the danger dog. Dog.
Want to feel appreciated? When you spend time with kids, anytime, it helps prevent crime.
Welcome back. We're going to hear a selection. Before we go to the penny whistle, we're going to hear a selection from the mountain dulcimer.
Yeah, the mountain dulcimer originated in America. This originated in Pennsylvania with German settlers who missed the zithers they'd left behind in the old country. This is a song that about the soldiers and the uniforms that they wore. They were in rags a lot of the time. At Morristown, they're freezing and starving, and there's no escape except a sense of humor. And that's what this song's all about. A soldier dressed in rags, a girl sees him and tries to bribe him to marry her. Soldier, soldier, will you marry me with your musket, fife, and drum? How can I marry such a pretty girl as you when I've got no shoes to put on? Off to the shoe shop she did go, fast as she could run. She brought him back to find us it was there, and the soldier put it on. Soldier, soldier, will you marry me with your musket, fife, and drum? How can I marry such a pretty girl as you when I've got no hat to put on? Off to the hat shop she did go, fast as she could run. She brought it back to find us it was there, and the soldier put it on. Soldier, soldier, will you marry me now with your musket, fife, and drum? How can I marry such a pretty girl as you when I've got no coat to put on? Off to the coat shop she did go, fast as she could run. She brought him back to find us it was there, and the soldier put it on. Soldier, soldier, will you marry me now with your musket, fife, and drum? How can I marry such a pretty girl as you with a wife and 12 children at home?
Wow.
Times haven't changed all that much.
No, not at all. Not at all. That was lovely.
Thank you. Yes, this
And
is
the penny whistle.
the penny whistle. It was called a penny whistle because
It was sold for a penny.
that's it.
I have a change of a nickel here. I'm sorry. Wow. Terrific. Now, that's different than a fife,
Yes.
which was used by the military.
That's right. And a fife was played sideways and very, very piercing because it had to be heard over the roar of cannons and cut through all the smoke. So a fife would not be pleasant played right here now. So
okay.
luckily I don't have
Please
one
spare us
with
then.
me.
Thank you.
Because it's meant for really carrying on a battlefield. This is much more a parlor instrument, or an instrument you could easily carry for your amusement. However, I'm very bold as a woman to be playing it because women didn't play the flute.
Well,
In
really?
the 18th century, if you played this kind of flute, you showed the side of your neck to the public. Heaven forbid. No neck sides allowed. And you couldn't play the penny whistle because distort your features.
Nice.
Not allowed to. You had to look
Interesting.
beautiful.
Ah,
And if you're playing music, you had to look beautiful.
well, that's not an instrument for me then, because I wouldn't deal with it at all. You know, so I totally sympathize with that. Now, was it the sound so piercing that it would cut through, let's say, the bagpipes of the British? Could it cut through?
Oh, good question. I don't know about the Battle of the Bands out there.
Yeah,
I don't
the original Battle of the Bands. Very interesting. Yes.
I don't know, but I do
Yes.
know that the fife and drummer were always next to the commander, and they would
Yes.
play the signal. So it was not music to their ears. It was
Right.
life
It
and
was an
death.
alarm. That
Every
was the-
single tune that was played meant something. Charge, retreat.
Wow, that was really terrific. Now it becomes we're going to move on. I mean, to my favorite curiosity, which is the limberjack. At first, I thought it was a bad cheese, and then I thought it was all those things. But no, it is not. It is an instrument, or we'll call it a percussion instrument.
Yes.
And it was used for I think for the establishing rhythm, and but I'll let the master take over, or mastress take over.
Yes, a limberjack. This was so that the children could join the family band. You know, people made music together in those days. It was the only entertainment you had was to make music at the end of a hard day or at a harvest fest. And the lumberjack was always there to provide mirth and dancing. Goodbye, girls, going to Boston. Goodbye, girls, I'm going to Boston. Goodbye, girls, going to Boston early in the morning. Oh, look pretty in the ballroom. Oh, look pretty in the ballroom. Oh, look pretty in the ballroom early in the morning.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Easy to play. You can play it.
Even I can play.
Even you.
Wow.
So all you
There's
do.
hope.
We're right here.
All right, what do I have to do?
You just hit a steady beat, and I lay him here, and he can't help himself.
Pretty good, huh?
Yankee Doodle went to town riding on a pony, stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
When are we going on tour? This is terrific.
There he is.
He's super. Now he brought a friend with you.
Yes, he's sitting over there. I don't know where his the stick went for him.
Oh, that's below.
He's just, oh, there it is. Yes, very good. So lumberjacks were always a homemade item, and so they come in many shapes. And I even have a horse lumberjack and a cow lumberjack at home. I just didn't bring
With
the
spots?
entire barnyard. That's right. And
Wow.
so this is a simpler one, but he's a great dancer. And good sound, too. And, you know, get them both going.
Wow.
It's river dance.
He sure is. That is terrific.
There you go.
And a cow too. Boy, that
Yeah.
sounds. I'd like one of those. Tell us a little bit about let's say, the problems of playing these instruments. Are there any particularly?
I make sure that they're
Like
quite
you're outside a lot when
right.
you play
I
these.
play
so, yeah.
outside, and of course, any kind of humidity will immediately just make the wood, make the strings go haywire. But it's really, it's just so wonderful to play these things that I don't see any big problems. It's only when, especially when the humidity is going and you're playing with the fiddler, and I do have a full band sometimes. I do lots of solo, but there's as many as six of us at Christmas time.
Wow.
In my ensemble.
Wow.
Cellos and fiddles and bagpipes and harps.
Oh, boy.
I've got some very talented musicians who get in on the act with me. So, you know, tuning is always a problem then. But no, I'm very used to singing outside as well, you know, like at Morristown, the bonfire concerts. So it's nice to. The thing I love about what I do is I sing in beautiful places, you know, gardens, Victorian porches, because I do all eras, many different, you know, not just 18th century, but Civil War as well.
Do you have a selection that you would play for us for the end of the show?
Sure.
But before we, before we get
Yeah.
to that, I wanted to find out where you perform. And
Yeah, I sing at, as I say, mostly historic sites and schools. I do a lot in the schools, and a lot in New Jersey. Morristown, the Wallace House in Somerville, Old Dutch Parsonage in Somerville, State Historic Site. Every Christmas I'm at the New Bridge Landing in River Edge. For 20 years I've been doing that Christmas show. So I just sing, and then, you know, as far as Oregon, when I go to the Oregon Trail and sing songs of the westward movement. It all began at Federal Hall on Wall Street, where I first started, and sang there for people from all over the world. So I really learned on the job all these songs, and now my life is very rich with all of this music. And my daughter knows some of the for a 13-year-old, she knows some good old drinking songs of 18th century America. And
Well, these are good things to know
These are
today,
good
I
things
guess,
to
you know, especially with the football season.
And Stephen Foster songs. I mean, so actually, my daughter is learning these songs as well. So I just believe in keeping music alive in your family and keeping
I think
everybody
it's
singing.
terrific, and I think you are being successful. What you have to offer and contributing is truly wonderful. Do you have some CDs, if I remember too?
Yeah.
Correctly. I think we have some
All right.
here, if I may.
Yeah. Can you reach?
Get up there and get those here in our living room here.
Right. Yeah, the good old colony days. That is the one that is the classic.
Okay.
Sold at
Why don't you
national.
hold it up to this
Yeah, it's
camera
sold
here.
at national parks up and down the eastern seaboard that have to do with 18th century life, and it's a favorite. I have 2 albums of Christmas because 18th century Christmas has been such a wonderful thing to bring to life for me, and 2 albums of Stephen Foster,
Wow.
Civil War songs, and then Stephen Foster songs. I share these with a couple other artists.
I'm going to have to cut you a little short because we're running out of time, but I would love for you to play another selection.
Yes, I'm going to get that mountain dulcimer
That sounds good.
for a tune that is. I have a one-woman show as well of 19th century women, and so this song will be a good one to. I think my pick is right in there.
Excellent.
Here it is. This is one of the. This is 1840s when the wagoners were the truck drivers of the prairie, taking the Conestogas to the west, and many a young girl lost her heart and sang bitter songs like this one. I am a poor girl, my fortune is bad. I've always been courted by the wagoner's lad. He courted me daily, by night and by day. And now he's loaded, he's going away. Your horses are hungry, go feed them on hay. Oh, come sit down here by me, as long as you stay. My horses ain't hungry, they won't eat your hay. So fare thee well, darling, I'm going away. Your wagon needs grease and your whip is to mend. Come sit down here by me, as long as you can. My wagon is ready, my whip's in my hand. So fare thee well, darling, no longer to stand. Oh, hard is the fortune of all womankind. They're always controlled, they're always confined. They're controlled by their parents until they're wives. Then they're slaves to their husbands the rest of their lives.
Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Welcome.
And I hope we'll see you again soon.
Me too. Thank you so
And
much.
good luck to you.
Thank you.